Hey, what's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking about passing the NASM CPT exam, which I just passed within the last 30 minutes or so, and I wanted to make sure to do a video quickly so that I can sort of remember what just happened and relay what I can to help some of y'all folks. Do me a favor, if you find this video to be helpful, please hit like on it, maybe even the subscribe button while you're there, here, wherever you're at. So just finished the test. A little bit of background on what my position coming into the test. I'm 44 years old. I've been doing fitness related type stuff for 6 years or so. I took the CPT guided study, not the self study, but I did the guided study because I felt like I'm a little bit older and I haven't done a class in so long. I was worried about studying on my own, so I felt like doing it with some help and assistance was going to be good for me. So I did the guided study. And so I originally had scheduled this exam for last week, but I felt, and that was about a week after the class ended. I felt like at that time I knew exactly what I didn't know. And it was the stuff that everybody says that you need to know, which was like the over and under actives, the acute variables, and some of the queuing stuff. Like those three things I felt very not confident in. So I'm glad that I bumped that back for another week. What I've done over the last basically 2 weeks then is, for studying purposes, I went back and I retook all of the exams, all of the pop quizzes and all that stuff on the guided study. I went back and I read all of the domains, all of these summarizations. At one point, I went through the entire book and just read the summary sections of each part. That one took a little bit of time. Made my own flashcards, made about 200 or 300 flashcards. I don't even know how many I made at this point, on the stuff that I felt like I was struggling with. And then I watched, frankly, a bunch of YouTube videos to find out what I needed to concentrate on. So that's kind of what I did leading up to today. Today, I crammed more. I've seen videos from the NASM folks that say, like, don't worry about studying your last day or that last night, because what you know, you're not going to learn nothing new. I felt like for me, because my thing was at 3 in the afternoon, that I spent the entire day today just like flashcards, recorded webinar, I mean, I pumped it literally up until probably 5 minutes before my test. So for me, it worked out because I felt like there was a couple of questions that I didn't know for sure the answer to, but I felt like at least I remembered. I just saw something similar to this a few minutes ago whenever I was studying. And so I felt like it actually did help me. So maybe that's worth doing. So as far as the actual test goes, here's how that worked out. So the test started. I'm doing it remotely. Right off the bat, there was a series of questions that was more related to the skeleton stuff and the capillaries and the veins and all that stuff. There's about 15 or so questions sort of bouncing around in that general range. And then it went very quickly into the over and under actives. And it seemed like 20 questions right in a row for me that were related to over and under active. And they were fairly simple and concentrated on the basic muscles. They weren't going into like the popliteus or the gracilis or any of that. It was just like a lot of glute stuff, a lot of gastroc stuff, a lot of latissimus dorsi stuff. So it was really kind of a lot of that I did. And it wasn't any of the questions like, if this is tight, what should you do? I didn't have, I think, any like questions relating to that. Almost everything I did was, if this is tight, what's not tight? What's the other side of this? I didn't have any synergistic dominance questions, which was fantastic for me. No autogenic inhibition questions. I didn't have any of that. It was right there, just a bunch of over under. And then from there seemed like another 15 or so questions that went right into queuing, like exercise queuing. And I did not expect that. I knew there would be a little bit, but I felt like there was just as many queuing questions as there was over and under active questions, which kind of bummed me out because that was one I did not prepare for as well. I just kind of tried to approach it like, if I don't know it, what's the one thing I would say out of these 4 options, or what would help me if I heard it? And, so that's what it is. They give you 4 options and you say, well, 2 of these are stupid. Why would anybody say this? 2 of these are decent. So I got at least a 50-50 shot at getting this one right. And so, you kind of use deductive reasoning as far as that goes. And, you end up kind of picking out the right one, or the one that makes the most sense. So there was a bunch of that. And then from there, it went right into stuff about building a business. There was actually a lot more questions about the actual sort of industry, or how you would approach being a personal trainer and getting business and things like that. For example, one of the questions said something along the lines of like, if you're at a gym and you're standing at the front desk greeting people as they come in, that's an example of what? And that's not something I really remember seeing before. It might have been in there in the book, but so there was a lot of questions actually towards that, which were shocking. There was a quick question about like continuing education credits. There was something about limited liability insurance. There's a few of those things. And then as it got towards the end of the test, it went into some actual exercises. Like if you are in the stability phase and you're doing strength, what would be a good exercise for that? And it seemed like there was probably 15 or so questions for that. And then at the end, it just became a mix, like a mashup of like all of it. Like it went back to some more under over. It went back to a few more of sort of like industry or like business type questions, and then it hit a few more exercise things. And so, what I felt that during the test, I felt that I was thankful that I took the extra week to do the over unders, not just for the sake of knowing them, and I know that I got most of them right, but it helped like calm me down right off the bat and sort of settle my nerves in the test. I was nervous coming into it. I haven't taken a test in a long time, and getting to that point sort of it chilled me out a little bit, and it made me feel like I've answered almost all of these right, if not all of them right. And it's like all of a sudden I felt like this is going to be okay. So for me, it had a multi-function there. It helped me pass the test by grade, and it helped me pass the test by just like mental, sort of just not freaking me out. So that was my experience with the test. I wouldn't say it was hard. I think that if you study the things that people say you're supposed to study, the under overs, the cueing, a little bit of the actual physical body parts, the skeleton stuff, and the heart. I did have a couple of questions about like the left and right atrium and that kind of thing. But study the stuff that everybody says that you're supposed to study. But my biggest thing I would probably recommend is if you're leading up to it, and you can identify that the things that you're the weakest at are the things that people say are probably the heftiest on there, just take another week and put it off and just like hammer that stuff down. That's probably the best thing that I did, was recognizing that I'm in trouble if I take this right now, because turns out everybody's saying these are the most important parts, and those are the ones that I knew the least. So be very aware of what you know kind of going into it. But that was my experience. Like I said, I wouldn't say it was hard. I would say it was challenging because some of the wording changed. There wasn't really anything that matched what was in the class or any of the pop quizzes or any of the exams on the actual guided study. But I felt like in the end, the guided study information that was on there was very good to help me pass through the test. So that's it. Hopefully this is helpful for you all. They don't give you a number. I don't know how much I passed it by, but it just said pass. So I wonder if they ever send that to you. It just says at the end, like, you passed, and that's kind of the end of it. So best of luck to you if you're getting ready to take it. And like I said, just do your homework and take the extra time if you need it. You'll be good. Thanks. If this was helpful, again, hit the like button on it. Maybe even the subscribe button while you're there. My name's Rob, and I am an NASM CPT. Apparently, that's what the thing said. Thank you all for watching. Good luck.